why you shouldn't praise anti-brother Itachi. So if you don't know who he is my older brother in real life who took me to tournament, who took me to shit, who claimed to have an irreplaceable factor but was really irresponsible and literally just drove me to the wrong direction and literally just kept me around because misery loves company. That's the definition of misery loves company. Because if you do not understand that it's more about responsibility and having fun, then you fail to realize where his manipulation and how he took care of himself fell flat. You can't praise someone just because they have a job. You have to know how they got that job. You have to know how he got that car. It's for people feeling sorry for him. You have to understand that. So here's one thing that you have to know about Anti, and he literally will destroy any hopes you have of him being a good guy because you think that he will all his charisma, oh this and that because of the movie, all the charisma of the movie, he must be misunderstood. There's no misunderstanding in his situation. Somebody who locks you in a room to interrogate your mind, there is no misunderstanding with that. And people get this misconception that you can move on when what you do is irredeemable. He has done too many irredeemable things in my life. So here's what happens. It was my birthday and he told me he was going to make it up to me. So basically what he does is he's alongside with my mom about trying to get me 5150 24/7. Every single time he comes over here, it's an attempt to get me 5150. He even got the scar of my arm tatted on his. He was like, oh, you may get all this praise from the media, you may get all these praise from these rappers, but I remember back in the day when you were suicidal. I'm always gonna remember that. And you need to remember that. I'm like, no, I don't. That's how I moved on. People look at me in real life, they never even thought I had a scar because of how much I changed. I forget I have a scar. I think this shit is invisible by now. And literally, he did that so he can constantly run up on me like, yeah, I know the days when you were this and that. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You're the reason why I got that for. You let it escalate. You didn't want to tell me that you thought girls were nothing more than sluts and they were only made to get fucked. And then you want to play that whole educated role. Literally, tried to scold me. After I roast 3 people in my house that tried to get me 5150, he says, you're retarded. I'm like, how? He's like, you can't do the simplest elementary schoolish shit and just leave. When you started this shit, at the time I didn't know how to come back. I'm like, ha ha ha, you may have made fun of me. You took advantage of the fact that I'm a special ed, but I'm the one getting pussy. So I'm going to go home, take it in. So I'm like, okay, you want to hit me in the nuts? I'll let you hit me in the nuts because I'm going to go home and I'm going to get some pussy and I'm going to forget that you ever said that. So I'm like, okay, you got to pull a Justin, huh? Well, you're this old, okay. There's no way I can ban that, but that's your problem. You accept that victory more than your life. All right? That's why the girl didn't give a fuck when you were talking about politics during the date. See, why you were talking about something fun, not politics. We're in the real world where that doesn't matter. And if you really think that he was right the entire time, let me inform you about something. That way that he speaks with his mouth, when he tries to lure you in with that southern accent, is made to make you gay. All that relatability is made to keep you in your comfort zone. And that comfort zone is going to be so overwhelming to a point till a person becomes gay. You don't want it to be relatable to a point where you want to share dick sizes. That is what that style is used for. There was a time where I was in my underwear while I was running, and he looks at me, he's like, ha ha ha, that penis said flop. You think that's relatable? You think that's funny? Oh, my penis flops, why is it bad? Because he's staring at my penis. And he's commenting on my penis. And you think it's just relatability. There was this one time when I was at Crunchyroll where I put in the work for this killer cosplay. And literally, this was after I beat his ass. This was after, literally, I proved him wrong over and over again. And literally, he took advantage of the fact that I felt sorry for him because at the time he was covered in blood. And that literally was terrifying. He was just one time at Crunchyroll, literally, where he looked at me and he took advantage of the fact that I already beat his ass, and he literally put his hand out and my dick ran into his hand when we were walking. He did that shit on purpose. And you know why he did it on purpose? This is why you cannot fall for this shit. Thank God I got TV fucked by Jordan the same day. But this is literally why you cannot trust people, no matter how charismatic they are, no matter if they're so relatable. He put his knuckles out to touch my dick. And you know why he did that? He didn't do that because he's gay. He did that because I caught him watching porn. And every time he watched porn, he watched a girl. But guess what he did that for? He touched my dick so he can have ammo to get me 5150. You see how he plays dumb? You see how he plays the loser role until he gets where he wants? That's why you can't trust him. If you can't see through that manipulation, you can't see through a girl that's playing you, that's trying to make you a beta male provider. If you fall for that shit, then you fall for a girl trying to make you a beta male provider for that very fucking reason. You can't make that life or death situation an excuse for him to harass you sexually. He did that, and this was so crazy. He literally tried to tell me, I'll back it up with my actions. And then the day of my birthday, he has his underwear out trying to get me 5150. I'm like, I was homeless. I was in a place where I was striving to survive. And you think you acting like a male stripper is going to get me 5150? Ha, that laughs. Okay, so literally, he kept dragging on this and that. I'm like, you really think you give me 5150 when it's been 4 years since I've done that? Do you really think you can do this? And literally, it was on my birthday too, when he's like, man, come back to me when you're 30. And I'm all like, go jack off. And that's why I created As Strong as Urine. Because when I did that, I realized that he did that all because he was still a virgin. And literally, when I did that, I started laughing at him because I have establishment after establishment. I have custom anime. I have plenty of women. I have my foot planted in society. It doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter what type of job he has. I've already surpassed him in every aspect in life. And so literally, when I thought about that, I thought about Jiren fucking shit up in Fire Z. I don't know why. I just thought about Jiren, and that's why I made that fucking video. No, literally, because I beat his ass. I got tons of women, so all I could imagine was Jiren. And that was just an insider of why I made that video. But this is literally why you can't trust people like him. No matter how relatable, no matter how much he made you feel when you're younger. When the chips were down, he wasn't there. When I needed him to be responsible, when I needed him to teach me life lessons, they weren't there because he wasn't responsible himself. Do not praise people that make you laugh but ignore responsibility. It will only hurt you. So this is why you cannot trust anti-brother Itachi.